Wally was the greatest player to play Origin Rugby League. I think to play the game of rugby league. But at Origin, he was special. He was all-conquering.
Lewis makes his way upfield. He's got some pace. Lewis, can he go all the way? Still going, he does wrong.
He was born with it. He's just a tremendous competitor. He had all the skills. He was strong, he was fast, he had timing. But most of all, he just had an unending desire to win. He was the best.
He was an extra forward because he was a big man. He was 6'2", he was around 100 kilos and he was very mobile.
Murray, Canescu, inside for Fortin. Fortin beat one tackle, he's got Lewis with him, and Lewis scores!
If we needed a spell, if we were tired, he'd slow the game down. If we were on a roll, he'd speed the game up. His control of the game generally was just awesome, and I haven't seen another captain like that.
And Wally's got 5.
And in one of those matches, he was actually sent off, and you could see the New South Wales side lift and gain some hope that they were going to win the match. And then when he came back on, their heads dropped again, and it actually had that effect on the opposition.
Is it your last one?
Yeah, that's it, mate. I've got a little girl to look after now.
And I just think with Wally, just send him out and see him walking around the field with his kids, it was just a marvellous sight. And just the Queensland support up there at Lane Park, you don't get much better than that.
Oh, look at the emotion. Wally Lewis. Queensland come in. It's a night of emotion here at Lane Park.
Leading up to it, I thought I'd handle State of Origin really well. But when I actually ran out into the paddock, I thought, gee, what am I doing here? I looked across, there was Meninga, there was Miles, there was Wally Lewis, and the atmosphere at Lang Park was enormous.
He was the best player I ever played against. Defensively, when in your line, you were sliding, you were outnumbered, and the Stewart would do a 30-metre pass to Laurie Daly at full pace. He's a very fast man and very big. His ability to step off either foot was just a nightmare, it was a headache. He was just a freakish player.
Laurie Daly! Oh, that is magnificent!
Across the board, he probably didn't have a weakness in his game. Defensively, he was very strong. He could not only tackle blokes, but give them a bit of a whack as well.
Oh, big shoulder!
Well, it takes unbelievable willingness to do whatever you will do for your friends, for your mates, for your teammates, and for yourself. And if you're not willing to give everything you've got, to lay every muscle, every bone, every ounce of blood on the line, then you don't belong there. You've got no right to be there. And if you're playing without that at an Origin level, then unfortunately you're not going to get a vote from me.
I think Peter Sterling was a lot like Wally Lewis. I think Peter Sterling could make the game go faster, he could slow it down, he could, he wasn't the fastest bloke or anything, but he always seemed to get his nose through. He'd be able to, make half breaks, and he had wonderful skills. And I suppose a lot of people underestimate Peter Sterling's toughness.
Very hard, very tough. I'd cut you in two if you got close enough to him. And one of those players who was such a professional, I think everybody admired from both sides.
And Gilmeister! Well, Harrigan went for him with a shoulder. I think Harrigan's come off second best.
Now, I was injured 2 years in a row before 1992. I had no job, couldn't play football. All I'd done was watch Origin. I watched the great footballers play, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
Ebbinghausen serves it up. Harrigan! And he's flipped down.
So my turn come around, there was no amount of fitness or nothing was going to stop me. Fatigue wasn't going to stop me. Fear wasn't going to stop me. I had to make it. And there was other reasons, personal, family ones, but your reason's powerful. Real passion gets you through.
Now, if you're looking at racehorses, I love racehorses. Mel's an octagonal. He's a big, powerful, strong thing.
Him and Jim Miles in the centres, you knew you're always pretty safe out in the back line. They were two great players and two great leaders.
Miles in the clear. Miles to the corner line.
Mel was another great captain, a great leader on and off the field as well. And certainly when he was in the Queensland side, you knew we were going to be in with a fight.
New South Wales have created rugby league history by becoming the first team to make a clean sweep of the State of Origin series tonight.
Yeah, the clean sweep in '86 was just an unbelievable feeling. It had never been done before. It's only been done a few times since. And for me, as captain, it was definitely one of the highlights of my career. And I look back, and whenever I run into the guys that played in that team, we end up talking about that achievement and the feeling that came with it. I mean, you just don't feel like going to sleep the night after the last game, the third game, because you want to party. You don't want that feeling to ever end.
Individually, you need to believe in yourself. You need to know when the times are really tough, you've got to pick yourself up and get through it. You also need to know that the bloke alongside you is there to help you, and you are there to help him. That's what Origin's about.
How sweet it is! Steve Mortimer's face tells it all. The Blues wrap up the State of Origin series for the first time.
I had a very fulfilling Origin career. Over 22 games I played in 7 series and won 6 of them. But, I'll never go down in history as one of the great football players. But in that sphere, I just played my heart out every game because I believed in what I was doing. I believed that, once again, I was representing the people of Queensland and representing the teammates. And I played for what I believed in, and that was that maroon jumper.
Moments away from an historic State of Origin series win. Here's Kenny.
The only time New South Wales beat us is when Brett Kenny was at 5'8", and I couldn't believe that many times they used to change him and put him in the centres. We used to clap and think, "You beauty, we got you," and we knew he had, and we used to go out and play that way.
But gee, he was a super footballer, and if anything, I think it was a bonus for me because it just ensured that I had to lift my standard of football even more if I was going to match him on the footy field.
Still going, Langer over the top two. The swinging arm from the little fella, and let me tell you, he is only a little man. The field of play, Langer's got him. Langer pulls him in. Well, good play from little Langer.
There was a number of guys that had a question mark over him. Players, I mean, and I was probably one of those guys. I thought, this guy's very small.
I had a lot of critics, a lot of criticism, especially even from my teammates, so that was the hardest thing coming into the side for that first Origin camp. I knew players didn't want me in the side, so that was very difficult, but going into camp, and I knew I had to prove the critics wrong, and that's the way I've played all my career, because they always doubted my size, so I just had to go out there and play well for myself, first of all, and then to prove the critics wrong.
Crowd to a man is standing to welcome home Alan Langer.
I just picked him up from the airport. I got a phone call from Wayne, said we're bringing someone back to play with us in State of Origin number 3, 2001. His name's Alan Langer. Can you be at the International Airport at Brisbane, such and such a time, and bring him to camp? I said it'd be my pleasure.
I remember thinking, holy cow, that was just, to me, it was like the earth moved on its axis, because I thought, that's huge. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, oh, Wayne, but then I thought, gee, how good's that? Al's going to come back.
And then the week going into camp on the Monday morning, seeing all the mates I used to play with, and there's some new players in the Queensland side, and just the whole week was just a dream come true, a fairy tale, and just with the game, it was unbelievable.
Langer, danger, danger.